The South Korean government on Monday held a public hearing to gather public opinion on the potential impact of the Trump administration's tariffs on the South Korean economy, while a possible extension of the July 9th tariff deadline seems unlikely now. President Lee will hold his first formal press conference on Thursday to mark 1 month in office. He also met with leading figures in the culture field on Monday, where he stressed the importance of cultural investment beyond the K-pop industry. The season's first heat wave advisory has been issued here in Seoul as of noon on Monday, just a day after the capital city experienced its first tropical night of the season. President Lee invited leading cultural figures to his office today to hear their voices on ways to support them and promote Korea as a global cultural powerhouse. There, he also called for the need to significantly expand support for artists. Our correspondent Yoon Jung-min reports.
A power that is soft but strong. The message was prominent as President Lee Jae-myung hosted leading figures in the cultural sector at the presidential office on Monday, given the impact of culture on the economy and beyond borders.
폭삭 속았수다를 보면서 이거를 하나의 산업으로 키워서 대한민국이 전 세계에 이렇게 딱 드러날 수 있는 결정적인 계기가 될 수도 있겠다 이 생각이 그때 들었습니다. 전 세계로 좀 진출해서 대한민국의 문화적 영향력을 키우면 우리가 세계적인 강국으로 선도국가.
For that, he urged the need to significantly increase investment and support for the culture industry. Along with First Lady Kim Hae-kyung, among those invited were musical writer Park Chun-hyu, who wrote a Tony Award-winning Maybe Happy Ending, renowned soprano Cho Soo-mi, and 16-year-old ballerino Park Yun-jae. Also present were Kim Won-seok, director of the Netflix hit drama When Life Gives You Tangerines, and Heo Ga-young, who recently won first prize in the La Cinef section at the Cannes for her short film First Summer.
As for the performance industry, we need more exchanges with local experts overseas. I ask for policies to help invite overseas experts here for cooperation, or artists here going abroad.
The roundtable focused on hearing from artists themselves, as the president often emphasizes the need to listen to voices on the ground to devise tailored policies from their point of view, though he did pitch his suggestion based on his administrative experience as a governor.
사실 우리 사회 전체 수준을 높이기 위한 일종의 투자다 이렇게 생각을 좀 해줘야 될 것 같아서 제가 이제 문화 예술인 기본소득 같은 걸 도입하자.
This is in line with Lee's pledges in his inaugural speech when he vowed to make Korea one of the top 5 cultural powerhouses in the world, as he quoted a famous phrase by independence activist Kim Gu, who wished for the power of a high culture. The meeting took place amid growing recognition of Korean culture on the global stage. What lies ahead is how to materialize what's been discussed to actually support artists. Yoon Jung-min, Arirang News.
President Lee will hold his first press conference on Thursday to mark 1 month in office. According to presidential spokesperson Kang Yoo-jung, the event will be held as a town hall meeting for closer communication with more reporters. The Q&A sessions will cover key issues, including the economy, politics, diplomacy, and culture. While former presidents typically held their first press conferences around the 100-day mark, Kang said Thursday's event was scheduled earlier to explain the new administration's policy direction and priorities as it began without a transition committee. It'll start at 10 a.m., though the venue has yet to be announced. Seoul says North Korea's recent communication with the United Nations Command is a meaningful sign, marking the first direct contact in 8 months. According to the South Korean military, North Korea last week notified the UNC of its plans to resume construction near the demilitarized zone using the inter-Korean military hotline known as the Pink Phone. The UNC plays a central role in maintaining security and stability around the inter-Korean border. Seoul's Joint Chief of Staff says over 1,000 North Korean troops have been mobilized daily since late last week. And South Korea is watching and will respond firmly to any violations of the military demarcation line. While it's unclear what Pyongyang's intentions are, Seoul says the communication itself is significant, as the North has previously rejected dialogue and moved unilaterally. The UNC did not confirm the message's details, but said a prior notification helps reduce misjudgment and the risk of conflict. South Korea's industrial production and facility investment fell for the second straight month in May. The government believes the figures will pick up once the supplementary budget takes effect on the local economy in the second half of the year. Our Moon Ji-young explains.
South Korea's industrial output and facility investment both declined in May from the previous month, while retail sales remained flat. According to Statistics Korea on Monday, industrial production declined by 1.1% a month in May, continuing its downward trend for a second month. This was largely driven by contraction in the mining and manufacturing sectors, which are the backbone of the economy.
Mining and manufacturing production fell 2.9% month on month, with gains in primary metals and petroleum refining offset by drops in pharmaceuticals and metal processing.
May's facility investment dropped by more than 4% from the previous month, marking 3 months of decline. Retail sales, a gauge of private spending, remained unchanged from a month earlier. In April, all three major economic indicators, industrial output, retail sales, and investment had recorded declines, showing the fragility of the country's recent economic momentum. Against this backdrop, the National Assembly passed a first supplementary budget bill in early May.
We anticipate the effects of the supplementary budget to be felt in the economy in the latter half of this year, following a time lag.
He also explained the direct impact of U.S. tariff policies on this overall production decline was not significant, and added that their effects might gradually appear after the July tariff negotiations. Meanwhile, business sentiment among export companies is projected to continue to deteriorate for the third quarter. This comes as the Korea International Trade Association announced on the same day that the third quarter export business survey index was recorded below 100. The association attributed this sustained sluggishness to ongoing trade uncertainties, including U.S. tariff measures, coupled with slowing global growth and increased exchange rate volatility. Moon Ji-young, Arirang News.
With about 10 days left until the Trump administration's tariff deadline comes to an end, the South Korean economy as government on Monday hosted a public hearing to address concerns and seek Seoul's potential negotiation strategy. Our correspondent Park Jun-an was there.
South Korea may face a 0.3 to 0.4% decline in real GDP if tariff effects are fully felt. This was mentioned during a public hearing held by the Ministry of Trade, Industry, and Energy on Monday, based on a feasibility review conducted by the Korea Institute for International Economic Policy.
If all the tariffs imposed or planned by the Trump administration were to materialize, our projections estimated that real GDP growth could decline by approximately 0.3% to 0.4%.
The hearing was held a day after trade ministry officials from the new Lee Jae-myung administration returned from high-level tariff negotiations in the United States last week. The talks involved 6 areas of trade between South Korea and the U.S., namely balanced trade, non-tariff measures, economic security, digital trade, country of origin, and commercial considerations. People from various sectors, including agriculture, steel, automobiles, and oil, gathered to express complaints and called for transparent disclosure of progress in the negotiations. A general manager from the Korea Iron and Steel Association raised concerns, saying that the industry is particularly worried about the possibility of major competitors securing better terms, and whether that could further hurt Korea's steel exports. Also, an official from the Korea Trade Investment Promotion Agency, who appeared as a panelist to represent the voices of business leaders exporting to the U.S., urged the government to swiftly address the issue of uncertainty.
It's not just Korean companies. U.S. firms are also clearly concerned about the tariffs. I believe that shared concern can be used as a bargaining chip, and we should strategically approach the tariff talks through Korea-U.S. business cooperation channels.
While the Trade Ministry expressed sympathy to industries affected by the tariffs, it explained that only limited information could be shared, as the potential harm of disclosing the details of the negotiations outweighs the benefits.
If you look at global or domestic media, there's very little information on which countries specifically received what demands and how they responded to certain tariff-related issues. I believe this is due to concerns over transparency, as making the negotiations public could be detrimental to the national interest.
Although the pace of negotiations is likely to pick up, it's still unclear when a deal will be reached or what kind of tariffs might follow. With less than 10 days left before the July 9th deadline, the tug-of-war between South Korea and the U.S. is expected to continue. Park Junan, Arirang News.
South Korea's high-speed rail network is getting an upgrade. Hyundai Rotem announced Monday that it has delivered the second-generation KTX-Eum to Korail, more than 4 months ahead of schedule. The new fleet will soon be put into service on the Gangneung line. With improved suspension, a reinforced frame, and advanced soundproofing, the trains promise a smoother, quieter ride. They're also equipped with a better air quality control inside, and they meet the highest safety standards even at top speed. Hyundai Rotem says the second-generation Eum is also set to make a push overseas, targeting markets in the Middle East and Eastern Europe. Last year, the company signed its first export deal for the model, a contract with Uzbekistan worth 270 billion won, or roughly $200 million. Heavy monsoon rains triggering widespread flooding and landslides have killed about 80 people across South Asia. Pakistan's National Disaster Management Authority reported Sunday that at least 45 people have died and 68 others have been injured so far. And according to the Xinhua News Agency, at least 34 people have been killed and 4 remain missing over the past 10 days in northern India. Both countries have issued flood alerts, urging residents to take precautions as heavy rains are expected to continue. Over in Turkey, a special exhibition is taking place by a group of South Korean artists whose works are proof that developmental disabilities do not hinder creative ability. Our Choi Soo-hyung has their story.
A hot air balloon floats gently on a small canvas showing the beauty of Cappadocia, Turkey. Flowers recreated with Korean colors and lines also catch the eye. All of these works are made using tape. Artist Park Tae-hyun visited Turkey in 2017, and ever since he has dreamed of going back to hold an exhibition there.
He rode a hot air balloon and sailed on a cruise ship in Turkey, which left a strong impression. After returning to Korea, he made many related artworks and has always dreamed of exhibiting them.
Since June 16th, a special exhibition has been held at the Korean Cultural Center in Ankara, Turkey, featuring work from Art World Korea by 9 artists with developmental disabilities, including Park and Chong Don. More than 40 pieces of art grabbed the attention of visitors with their bold colors and unique perspectives.
I thought many Korean residents would come, but many locals visited instead. They listened carefully to the stories behind each artwork, asked questions, and showed their respect. Our artists felt very happy, and I was truly proud.
We thought it would be meaningful to share Korean culture through pure and unique perspectives. By introducing artworks about Turkey seen through Korean eyes, we also hope to highlight the strong friendship between Korea and Turkey.
Over the past 10 years of their artistic journey, the artists' disabilities have become a driving force for their art, not a limitation.
People with developmental disabilities often have sensitive hearing or vision, giving them a unique view of the world. With strong intuition and focus, it feels like the picture is already complete in their mind, and they simply transfer it onto the canvas.
There were many doubts and stereotypes about how people with developmental disabilities could create such artwork.
One tough prejudice is people doubting that artists with developmental disabilities truly created the artwork themselves. It's a hurtful misunderstanding.
From planning the exhibition to setting up the artwork, the parents do everything except create the pieces themselves. But the parents of Art Brut Korea say they want the world to recognize these works as those of true artists. An exhibition without borders in Turkey runs until July 25th. Choi Arirang News.
Time now for the final installment in our series of stories to mark the 60th year of denormalization of Seoul-Tokyo ties. After Korean dramas, literature, and food, it's K-pop that's been at the heart of the two countries' relations and which continues to promise a brighter future for them. Our An Sung-jin has more.
11-year-old Hanae has a big dream: to become a K-pop idol. From Twice to her favorite artist Tomorrow by Together, the idol wannabe dance practices continue day and night. Her journey began when she was an infant.
When I watch K-pop, the singing is amazing and the dancing is incredible too. It makes me think that it's something really special.
Her love for K-pop came from her mother, though she was also inspired by someone else, her grandmother. The passion for K-pop runs through 3 generations of her family.
In the past, only some people knew about and liked Korean culture. But now, it's become mainstream. Even my friends enjoy it. I think it gives people a positive motivation for life. Korean culture is now really being embraced here in Japan.
For Hanae's mother, it started with Korean fashion and then naturally merged into K-pop. Now she's glad to be supporting her daughter's dream that she had once hoped for.
I want to support her dream with all that I can. I hope she becomes a globally renowned K-pop idol, maybe even performing at Coachella one day.
For Hanae, this means a lot of effort, whether it be learning Korean or enhancing her dance skills.
I'm working hard on my singing and dancing until I can be truly satisfied with it myself. I want to meet K-pop idols up close and not only debut in Korea, but also ultimately launch a global career.
But it's not just Hanae who has this ambitious aspiration. Students at this dance studio are also a part of a rising wave of Japanese teens captivated by K-pop who practice for hours every day. The studio has more than 1,000 registered students and offers classes for all different levels.
We've been seeing a steady increase in students over the past 7 or 8 years, but I think that number will only grow. Until recently, most students have been high schoolers, but now we're seeing a lot more kids from elementary school or those who are in their 20s as well.
It's the K-pop performance for me, and how K-pop idols really try hard and put in a lot of effort.
Kurumi has already crossed that threshold. She debuted only around a month ago as a K-pop idol in Korea and said that her dream since elementary school had come true.
It still doesn't feel real, but as we've been appearing on music shows more often these days, it's starting to sink in more and more. I hope to perform in Japan, my home country, sometime in the future.
But the phenomenon of K-pop is flowing in both directions. N-Team is a successful example of K-culture localization and draws fans from all over the world.
We just made the plans full steam, We booked a flight, we booked a hotel, and we were on our way. I think it's because the members are like so diverse. A lot of them are like multilingual.
I had been learning Korean, but I stopped for a while. After I started liking and team, I picked it up again.
These journeys represent not only what many young hopefuls see as success, but it also signifies a cultural crossover as K-pop continues to transcend borders, languages, and generations. This next wave of idols are gearing up for their dream, one step and one beat at a time. An Sung-jin, Arirang News, Tokyo.
Time now to take a look at what's been happening in the world of sports. For that, we have our sports editor, Paul Nate, joining us in the studio. Welcome back, Paul.
Thank you.
So why don't we start with golf? LPGA sophomores Im Jin-hee and Lee So-hee joined forces to get their maiden U.S. titles.
Yes, that's right. They won the Dow Championship in Midland, Michigan on Sunday. They beat the American team of Megan Kang and Lexi Thompson in a playoff. In this team competition, both teams finished at 20 under 260. Im and Yi shot an 8 under 62 in their bogey-free final round with 8 birdies to draw level. In the playoff, Im sank a birdie putt set up by Yi's tee shot. Kang had a shorter birdie attempt but missed to hand the South Koreans their first win. The pair joined the LPGA Tour last year and will split the prize money of just over $799,000 US. They became the 4th and 5th South Koreans to win on the LPGA Tour in 2025, but are the first to win the Dow Championship, which began in 2019.
Well, moving on to football now, I hear there could be a Korean derby in the FIFA Club World Cup.
Yes, that's right. We could see Lee Gang-in versus Kim Min-jae. That is because Paris Saint-Germain and Bayern Munich will meet in the quarter-finals on Saturday. PSG and Lee Gang-in beat Lionel Messi's Inter Miami 4-0 on Sunday. He came off the bench in the 70th minute to make his 3rd appearance of the competition. Meanwhile, Kim Min-jae was an unused sub as Bayern beat Flamengo 4-2. Kim is yet to feature in the Club World Cup, having only just returned from an Achilles injury, and Bayern are not rushing him back. He won the French top division title, the French Cup, and the European Champions League with PSG last year. Kim won the Bundesliga title with Bayern. There could be even more silverware should either team advance.
Paul, we have to talk about K-League. It looks like Jeonbuk are back at their best.
Yes, right. At the weekend, they went 10 points clear at the top of K-League 1. In round 21 on Friday, Jeonbuk Hyundai Motors beat Gimcheon Sangmu 2-1 thanks to a brace from Italian striker Andrea Compagno. This, along with Daejeon in second place, drawing 1-1 at home to Jeju SK, meant Jeonbuk's lead was extended from 8 points to 10. This is quite the turnaround from last year when the Green Warriors finished 10th and had to go through the relegation playoffs. Led by Uruguayan manager Gus Poyet, Jeonbuk are on a run of 17 matches unbeaten and are seeking a first K-League 1 title since 2021. Reigning champions Ulsan have slipped to 7th but have 2 games in hand, having been away in the US for the Club World Cup.
Paul, last but not least, to baseball. It seems highly likely we'll have another star in MLB next year.
That could well be the case because Kiwoom Heroes infielder Song Sung-moon is in high demand, it seems. According to Yonhap News, scouts from 4 MLB clubs came to watch his most recent matches. The New York Yankees, the Chicago Cubs, the Seattle Mariners and the San Diego Padres are all reported to be interested in his services and have sent scouts to watch him over the past week. Song has previously said that he wasn't too keen on a move to MLB, but also said recently that he spoke to current MLB star Kim Ha-sung, who gave him some encouragement. He says he will weigh up his options at the end of the year if he's had a good season and if there are clubs interested.
Something to keep tabs on. Paul, thank you so much for coming in today. I'll see you back here next Monday.
Thank you. Yes, see you.
Following the first tropical night in Seoul, the capital had its first heat wave warning of the year issued today. The heat wave warnings were also issued in some parts of Gyeonggi-do province, southern parts of Gangwon-do province, and southern regions. The rest of the country is under heat wave advisories. The summer heat of over 30 degrees Celsius will continue for the time being. Tomorrow, the daytime temperature in Seoul will rise up to 30 degrees. It will rain slightly in the Seoul metropolitan area and Gangwon-do province on the way to work tomorrow morning. Also, showers are expected around the southern parts of the Chungcheong-do provinces. Tomorrow morning will start a bit hot at around 23 to 24 degrees across the country. Daily highs will move up to 32 degrees in Daejeon, 35 degrees in Gwangju and Daegu. Throughout the first week of July, heat wave will continue nationwide. That's all for Korea. Here are the weather conditions around the world.
That is all we have for tonight. I'm Kim Dami. For all of us here at Arirang, thanks for watching and good night.